and thank you for having me here today. So, as the slide says, I'm at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, and I'm a fervent paleontologist. And what that means is that my job for a living is what every kid in this room would love to be doing. So if I can see a show of hands from the kids in the room, how many people here would like to be a paleontologist?
Raise your hand.
Okay, excellent. Kids of all ages. Well, paleontology is a great thing to do with your life. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun way to spend your time. Is it at all possible maybe to bring some more of the lights down just a little bit? Thank you. These slides are a little dark. Perfect. So what paleontology is, when you're a paleontologist, is you're basically professionally nosy, you're professionally curious, and you get to be a detective. And what we do as paleontologists is we are basically reconstructing the history of Earth and the history of life based on the rock record, based on the evidence of past life, fossils. And so what I'm going to talk to you today about is just that. Why do we care about T-Rex? How do we understand T-Rex? And what looking at an animal like T-Rex means for understanding the past and even understanding the future. Every paleontologist who doesn't work on T-Rex or dinosaurs, and I'm a recovering dinosaurologist, asks the same question: why do we care about T-Rex? Everybody loves T-Rex. It is one of the most iconic animals living extinct known globally. As a species, we know T-Rex. If I say tiger, you would say, oh, I know what a tiger is. If I said Panthera tigris, you might not know. Those are the proper names, genus and species. T-Rex is one of the few animals that's actually recognizable by its scientific name, Tyrannosaurus rex. The genus Tyrannosaurus, the species Rex. Most animals we know of, for example, blue whales, you won't know what a blue whale is. If I said Balanoptera musculus, you probably wouldn't. But T-Rex is so iconic, we know it by its scientific name. So what's the big deal with T-Rex? Why do we care so much about this animal? And we really do ask ourselves that. I think I know. I'm going to tell you why. So here's Sue. This is the Grand Dame herself in the Field Museum of Natural History. This is the mounted specimen. That is actually the complete mounted articulated skeleton. $8.1 to $8.3 million worth of her. When Sue was mounted in the Field Museum, has anyone here been to the Field Museum? I'm just curious. A lot of people have been to the Field Museum. If you've been there historically in the past, you might remember they had a giant brachiosaurus. It's outside the museum now. It's also in O'Hare Airport, which is a bit of a surprise when you walk through the terminal. There's a big giant brachiosaurus. It used to be in the hall opposite Sue. And when they set up the $8.1 to $8.3 million Sue, what they realized is she looked tiny relative to brachiosaurus. So out with the brachiosaurus. Sue is now really the Grand Dame of the museum. And of course, you see her here. So what does T-Rex tell us? What's the importance of T-Rex? There are several important things about T-Rex. It tells us about the past history of Earth. The fossil record, the record of past life, is something we read to understand what the changes our planet has gone through over time have been. We also can use understanding the past to understand the future. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So, to put all this in context, I want to talk a little bit about the world of T-Rex, where we find T-Rex, why we find T-Rex. So this should be familiar to most of us. It is a map of North America, and we can see where we are today. We are right in the middle of the continent. We're about as far away from ocean water as you can get in the North American continent. Actually, if you went a little farther north, you'd be slightly farther away, but we're pretty close. So here we are right in the central portion of the North American continent. The Great Plains are kind of on the eastern edge of the Great Plains. We are not the most mountainous or hilly area. We don't have oceans. What we have is a lot of really beautiful, wonderful, rich soil, which supports the agricultural basis of North America. And under that soil, we have rock. And that rock is important because we can read that rock, and we can go from understanding the world today to understanding the past world. So this is where we are